And Assalamu alaikum. And it's your host, Imi Yaska. And today we're going to be previewing the third test of the England versus Pakistan series. I've got a couple of guests with me. One's not here at the moment, but Dr. Chowdhury is with me again. So where were we last? We were at the Rose Bowl or the Ageas Bowl, and we had a game where we got the equivalent of 1.5 overs, 1.5 days in. Now, we're in that sort of situation now that where Pakistan have to win, being 1-0 down the series. Old Trafford and that day 4 is really pointing out to be very vital because we could have been in a situation where we would have been 1-0 up and we couldn't have lost the series. But now we need to win to get anything out of the series. So, Assalamu alaikum, Doctor. How you doing?
Yeah, no, fine. No, it's exactly the point I was thinking. I mean, we'd be chilling if we were 1-0 up. We'd have loved the rain and the bad light at Southampton last week, thinking we can't lose the series now. And I hope it just kind of teaches the players, or kind of just demonstrates to the players, not that they should need to be told, that you can't play well for 75-80% of a test match. When you've got a team like England on the mat, you've got to keep them there. And so now we're paying the price for that kind of dodgy last 3/4 of a day that we had, where essentially we batted really poorly, and then of course that last session where we couldn't get those 5 wickets. Or the other 3 wickets that we needed with that 6-wicket partnership. So again, just reinforces when you play a team like England away, you can't play well for 60% or 70% of the game. You've got to be on it from start to finish.
Yep. So yeah, we're in that. We've got Nav with us as well now. So yeah, that's Nav. We were just discussing how Old Trafford, we could have been 1-0 up, but now we're 1-0 down. And going into the last game, we need 20 wickets. I'm going to carry on to the doctor first. England, do you expect any changes?
Yeah, they've mentioned that they might go with an all-seam attack. So that would be obviously Anderson, Broad, Wokes, and then possibly they would bring in. That's all right. They bring in Archer for Don Bess. So I was looking up. Bess has been going at 3.5 and over against us this summer. Obviously, he didn't bowl in the last game, but essentially that first game, 3.5 and over, 1 for 115. So, to be honest, as a Pakistan fan, you want Bess playing because we can milk him and he doesn't take many wickets. If they go with an all-seam attack, it seems pretty relentless. I mean, there's none of those 4-seamers or 5-seamers would I be confident of us facing. There's no weak link there. So that is a concern.
Yeah, I mean, never actually played. Didn't bowl at all, and obviously England, we didn't get down to their batting. So in the 1.5 days, he was probably the only cricketer who never had any sort of involvement.
Yeah.
So it could be with Root actually saying that they're going to be playing on a brand new pitch. It could be that it might be going with an all-seam attack. Nav, do Pakistan make any changes?
Sorry, changes. Naseem Shah. Pakistanis have an obsession with bowlers who bowl fast. Does he swing it? Does he seam it? I think Wahab Rehaz would be a better bet. Bit of knowledge, bit of nerves, a bit of this, a bit of that. But as Pakistanis, it's pace is pace, isn't it? So
Naseem's got I see where you're coming from, but Naseem's got a lot of talent, but it's maybe experience that you need at this stage. I don't know, but Naseem's only bowled 36 overs so far in the series, so he'll be quite fresh.
Fresh, yeah, but I think sometimes experience, we overlook experience. Wahab's got, on a pitch doing a little bit. Wahab can be dangerous. And what's the point of bringing him if you're not going to play him?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I mean, saying that, if it's a pitch that's going to do a bit, I think of Wahab as a kind of a test bowler, I think he's someone who's done really well in UAE conditions, kind of, you know, getting a bit out of a pitch that's got nothing in it, or kind of going really full. I think if we're thinking English conditions, to be honest, I'd keep Naseem in. But if it's between Wahab and Sahel Khan, I'd probably go with Sahel. But to be honest, I'd rather keep Naseem in the team. I just think Sahel is probably likely to get a bit more kind of off a good length on that pitch than Wahab. To be honest, it wouldn't surprise me if either of them broke down 2 sessions into the game. Fitness is not either of their strong points. So I'd probably stick with the seam attack that we've got now. If I'm honest, I know what you think of me.
Yeah, Nav, Omar asks, do you think Fawad should play in the upcoming match, or should Shadar play ahead of him?
Right, leg spin bowling, 2 leg spinners, once it's been raining. You're not going to get enough turn for 2 leg spinners, and leg spinners need to bowl a lot of overs. So we're not going to see 30 overs from Shadar, 30 overs from Yasir Shah. It's just not going to happen. And if you pick Fawad after 10 years, you've been a test match, then he deserves a chance. You cannot judge a player on 1 test match and 4 balls on 1 test match. That's not fair. If he's waited patiently, he's got the way to run, you've got to give him a run.
Yeah, I think it'd be harsh to drop him on 1. I mean, I'm not a fan. I think a lot of people have realised that. I'm not a fan of Fawad Island, but you know what? Give him the 3-4 test matches, and then you judge. I think it'll be unfair after just one game, 1 innings. It's a bit unfair. Boombastic. I haven't heard that for years. Michael will mention on Click Buzz that we might get either an unprepared pick or a used one. Which one would you guys prefer?
It doesn't really matter. Their batting is root, and that's about it. They are relying on root to keep them out of trouble. We can get root, and there's nothing. Burns, Sibley, Crawley, Pope, and Butler. They don't worry us. They bat around root. It doesn't matter what pitch we play on him. We can up-bowl them. It's just a matter of us scoring enough runs.
Yeah, Doctor. Any preference on a pitch?
No, I don't mind, to be honest. I think we've got the bowlers to exploit both, to be honest. If it's a fresh pitch, if it's doing a bit, we've got the seam attack. And if it's a similar pitch to Old Trafford, then hopefully we'll get a bit more out of it than we did on day 4. The only thing I would say is that we had the runs on the board in the first game, and we didn't see it home. So, yeah, I think England are probably more than just root. I think Pope has shown some flashes of being a really good player. He's someone who could be number 3 for them in a few years. Yeah.
I'm going to have to go. Sorry.
Oh, that's fine. Nav's got an emergency. He did warn me beforehand as well, so that's fine. I wouldn't drop Naseem Shah. And there's another comment that says Naseem is more likely to get movement than Wahab with his dodgy wrist position. Yeah, I think there's that argument of like experience, but then I think Naseem's shown in nothing in 36 overs just to be persistent with it, and he hasn't over bowled. I mean, we all agreed that if he was over bowled, that he can't play 3 tests. But I think the last one, you could just say he just had a little net session.
That was a net. It was a net, basically.
Yeah, out in the public. So that's that. We've got something interesting here. The revised playing times. Now, both teams have agreed that in case of bad light or rain, that they can come out and like start half an hour earlier. Surely this was common sense for cricket to be doing like years ago.
Well, you would have thought so. I think so. Prior to this, I think they thought that it might be a little bit unfair for ticket holders. You know, can you tell people who've got a ticket that you've got to come to the ground half an hour early, and then you open yourself up to people claiming back money, saying, "Well, I only saw X number of overs" or whatever. I think without a crowd in, and Sky Sports have said they're more than willing to kind of adjust their schedules. They've got a dedicated cricket channel. This isn't, like the BBC or something like that. So I think Sky have said they're okay with it. It makes a lot of sense. And actually, in a game that we need to win, the extra 2 hours that we might get from half an hour a day on days 2 to 5, you never know. That might help us if it goes right down to the wire. So no, it sounds like a good kind of common sense decision in a sport that doesn't always do kind of common sense very well. So I'm pleased.
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe what we might see in the future is like when we get our tickets, it might actually say that the game's due to start at 11, but in the case of bad light, etc., the game could start at 10:30, so it covers both angles. Most people now, I mean, they follow social media, they follow the news. You get all that information anyhow. But on the flip side, like if I was coming from say London to Manchester and I didn't have a car, be on a train, so I might end up missing the start of the play. So it is tricky, but end of the day, we need to see overs being bowled. I don't think it would have made any difference.
It wouldn't have made a difference in the last game. No, not at all. And also, it's just that thing, I guess, of if you want to try and make the game as accessible to people as possible, you try and explain to kids that this is a game that you can get involved in and what have you. It's not a kind of an old, stuck in its time, archaic type thing. Then innovations like this are gonna help. So yeah, it wouldn't have made a huge difference last week. We lost too many overs, but like I say, you never know. In this game, it could be the difference.
Yeah, and guys, your comments are flooding in again. The pun was intended. Chris, will forward play? Imi, your voice is echoing. Sorry, I don't know why. I haven't got my headphones right now. I'll sort that out from Saturday onwards. I'm not available tomorrow. Someone else is taking charge. Forward play. I guess he will play. I don't think we're going to drop him after one game, are we?
You can't drop him after one game. For the balance of the team, if the conditions really dictated it that you need, I don't know, 2 spinners or a fifth seamer, then maybe. But it's the same venue as last week. I think Fawad will play. He deserves to play. You can't judge someone on 4 games. Just thinking of team changes, the only thing I would say is if it isn't going to turn very much, if England are going to go with an all-seam attack, can we bring in Shadab for Yasir Shah? Maybe he's possibly a bit more of a containing bowler, and maybe go with 3 seamers and Yasir and Shadab. Sorry, it bolsters the batting as well. That's the only change I would potentially think, but I'd be happy if they go with the same 11, to be honest. Oh, Imi's gone completely silent now.
I muted myself. Zakaria, every country does start early when necessary. It's the first for the UK. I'm not sure they start like a test match early. I mean, pre-arranged, yes, but I don't think they're like mid test match. They say
no, I don't think mid. I can think of a few series in the West Indies that have started a little bit early. And don't forget, England, when cricket was on Channel 4 in this country, England used to start at 10:30. So there was a period of about 6-7 years where the games were starting at half 10 in the morning. That was so they could put Hollyoaks on in the evening, which I guess is as good a reason as any. So yeah, no, it's not, but it's like you say, it's not happened mid-series in England before. So yeah.
Yeah, guys, we've only got 15 more minutes because I'm in a bit of a hurry today. I've got some things to do. Zaid said, would you rest any of the Pakistani fast bowlers for the 3rd test, especially Shaheen? I think Shaheen. I looked at Shaheen in the last test and I thought to myself, he was bowling within himself. And at Old Trafford, I thought he was underused. He would have won us the game if he was brought on straight off the tee as your strike bowler. So definitely not Shaheen.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, he's a fit lad anyway. We do forget how young he is. So people talk about wrapping up Naseem Shah and Cotton Wool with him being potentially a teenager still, maybe. But Shaheen's only a couple of years older, however old they both are. So we need to be thinking about fitness and things like that. But this is the 3rd test. He's had a break. I think we'll be okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I've got some tickets for the T20 series with some stats, which I was just trying to move around because I don't want to post them right now. Sallu Riyadi, should Imam be part of the starting 11 as he's more experienced with 2 centuries, albeit limited over internationals in England? I think, I don't know, it's Abid, but I think Abid done well enough in this test to retain his place. I don't think there's a position up for grabs at the moment, is there?
No, it's good. We've got three good opening batsmen. I mean, when was the last time? I can't remember for a while. Was Pakistan having three good opening batsmen? And really, you could pick any two of the three, and I'd be happy. I like Imam. I think he gets a lot of stick unnecessarily with the whole, the family stuff and the family connections, all that stuff. I think he's a good player. I just think at the moment he's first reserve, and if it's good to know that if one of the other two loses form, that we can bring in a good opener. I know a few people have said maybe you drop Asad and bring Imam in at 3, push everyone down. I'm not sure if you do that just yet, but he's a good player.
Tabriz says that's a funny looking Pakistan shirt you mean. It is, yeah. We went black.
That's our away kit from the 90s or something, isn't it? Pakistan away kit.
Yeah. Back Cantona 7. Chris said, he said I was on mute. Sums up 2020. I think like when I was on mute. Yeah, it does sum up 2020. Nothing seems to be straightforward. From Saturday, I'll use my headphones, so it should be no echo. A lot of overs were lost due to the rain, but also bad light. Surely no overs should be lost to bad light, as the ECB could just pink balls or just fix floodlights. I don't know. You know what? We had this massive debate on our little WhatsApp group yesterday, and Debbie was in one corner defending the pink ball, and the rest of us were saying, no, you know what? We're traditionalists. We love the red ball. It behaves differently. It's what cricket is. And especially in England, the one thing we look forward to our bowlers doing is bowling with a Duke ball on these surfaces. It's a tricky one. I don't know. I'm not sure about the pink ball myself. But should we be losing overs due to bad light, especially during the day? I mean, like at 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock midday, should there be bad light?
No, there shouldn't be, should there? It was a bit of a fast last week. If you've got floodlights, they should be good enough so that you can play with a red ball. To be honest, I'm open to playing. I think a pink ball wouldn't be the worst idea in the world at all. I think some cricket's better than no cricket. Obviously, I don't. There's been a few games where the pink ball has moved around a lot, and you've seen teams declare almost so they can have a go with the pink ball, in that nighttime session. But I would still rather that we see some cricket than us just sitting there, watching absolutely nothing like we did last week. And there's going to be some kind of minimum standard for floodlights. The only thing is, I don't know if you can have that across the world. They might be able to have the most powerful, amazing floodlights in England. Could they afford that in the Caribbean, in Sri Lanka, whatever? Who pays for it? Not all boards are as rich as the ECB.
I mean, Pakistan, for example, when you only get like on certain days, or when we were in Dubai, when you get like 10 people in there and they're one dog, so there's 11 people watching it. Again, floodlights cost a lot of money as well. Zakaria again. Fuad can't bat lower than 4. He bats too slowly for batting in the lower order. Can't bat with the towel. Well, there's no place in the top 4, so that's that. I mean,
the comment beneath, I think, just mentions about him batting at 5 and maybe Shafiq batting at 6. I think that makes sense. I mean, for whatever reason, Shafiq seems to struggle when he's not at 6, whether that's a mentality thing or a psychological thing. We know he can bat with the tail. I would happily put Fawad at 5. Not because of the rate. 5 days is a long time, so I'm not really fussed about our run rate batting, not in these conditions. But more just so that if someone can bat with the tail, I'd rather it was Shafiq, and then he's got no excuse to fail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Fawad, I've got no problems. I mean, 5 or 6. I mean, I don't think it makes much of a difference either way.
I get the impression you think it's going to be the same result anyway, wherever you bat.
No, I'm not going to say that. But yeah, I just got that feeling where like you're batting at 5 or you're batting at 6. You're either going to be coming at when you're at say 200 for 3 or 200 for 4, and you're doing well.
Yeah.
Or you're either coming out at 100 for 3 or 100 for 4, So you're either going to be batting with the towel quite soon, or you're either going to be batting with the new ball. So both ways, it's a tricky position to bat in. A lot of people say it's probably the easiest, but in many ways, you could be faced with a tricky situation because you could be going against a new ball, or you could be going against batting with a towel. So, but I think they're experienced enough to know that. I mean, Asad Shafiq's batted that for years. Fawad's very experienced in domestic circuits, so they know their system. Omar, that light meter came out quick in Pakistan bowling on day 4. It did seem to. I mean, as soon as we came out, we got bowled out, and the moment we came out and bowled, I mean, literally a few balls, that light meter was out, and I wasn't happy at all. I was like, what is actually going on? It wouldn't have made much of a difference because the rain sort of poured down soon after. But as a cricket fan, the last thing you want is midday on a Sunday and you're going off for bad light. It was quite frustrating. And I just tuned in because my son was watching WWE. So I just about promoted him and just tuned in, and that 2 minutes later we're going off. So that's one of them. Just the conditions were perfect.
It was doing a lot. It was doing a heck of a lot, wasn't it? That morning. I mean, to be honest, that was the one chance we had of winning that game was for something ridiculous to happen. 30 overs of madness where we bowl England out for 92 or something, and then we go and somehow win the match. That was literally the one chance we had. We picked up. We got Burns, didn't we? I think we got Burns caught at slip. And it was looking really difficult conditions to bat in, and then of course they went off again. I don't think they came back on for the rest of the day then, did they?
Day 5, like once the sun was out, the pitch looked quite good for batting.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, that's that. Guys, we've got 9 more minutes, and that will be the end of it. So we won't be going over today at all. How do you see it panning out now?
It's so much of a lot of cricket in this country is kind of based on the conditions, isn't it? It's especially the weather forecast. So I had a look at the weather forecast, and it's raining a little bit tomorrow. It's not great for Saturday either, and then the sun comes out, and it's going to be a couple of good days. So I don't know. What do you reckon? Win the toss and bowl, perhaps. I think we've got to just forget that we're 1-0 down and don't do anything silly and don't try and chase the game. It's not in Misbah's nature anyway to chase cricket matches. But we don't need to chase it and think let's pick up 10 wickets tomorrow, and then we can beat England over 5 days of cricket if we pick our best 11 and play good cricket, regardless of batting first or bowling first. I just wonder if tomorrow might be a day, if it's overcast, if we can just steal a march on them, pick up some wickets, put them in, and then see where it takes us. But I'm hoping that we can get it back to 1-1. I think we deserve a 1-1. I mean, unless something horrific happens tomorrow. If England were to win this series 2-0, I think it'd be a bit harsh on us. I think we've done quite well in both games for a lot of the match. Yeah,
and as you said, chasing the game at the moment, it doesn't make any sense because you've got 5 days. So you play the first 3 days, you play good hard cricket, but you don't like take unnecessary risks. And then day 4, if you're in that position of winning, that's when you can consider if you need to take that extra risk, so to speak. And even then, you know what? With the Test Championship points available, a draw gives you another 20 points. So 20 and 20 is like drawing the series 1-1. In the sense, like we still get the points of winning 1 game. It's not the end of the world. I mean, I'll be disappointed because we haven't lost here since 2010.
Yeah.
And I want to win the series. I want to play the series again. As you said, Misbah is quite experienced in that. He's not gonna let his team take unnecessary risks. Just play your normal cricket, play good cricket, play hard cricket, but try to stay in the game and try to stay in the game. So on day 4, you're in that position that if you could try to enforce a result, then that's when you start pushing.
We saw this. I mean, the last couple of obviously we had it at Lords in 2018. an oval in 2016 where we ended up bowling first, bowled England out relatively cheaply, and pretty much just batted once and batted big. So that might be the kind of the tactics tomorrow. It's difficult because the conditions are no one really knows what kind of pitch it's going to be or what the weather forecast exactly is. So it does make it difficult to kind of predict what's going to happen tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Hope to see a Bob 100, don't we all? I'll absolutely love it. So, and do you think we should drop he's not in good form. He's not the greatest captain. I mean, we did it to Safraz, not mid-series. I mean, I don't agree with it doing mid-series. Let's evaluate things series per series after the series and see where it is. I mean, it might be a case that if things don't go to plan, he might decide that, you know what, he just wants to play as a batsman himself. Sometimes we discussed this the other day, didn't we, Doctor? That, you know, captain, and when you're out of form, so you're not just looking at your own form, you're trying to look at the whole team. Yeah. It's quite hard, and you've got to be very mentally. You've got to be mentally really strong here to come over that, and maybe is a different sort of character to the captains that we've had in the past. I mean, just look at the last two of it, Safraz and Misbah are mentally, I think, a lot more stronger than what Azhar is. But I think that's going to be a decision for after the series. We can evaluate that in 5 days' time and see where we are. Not right now.
Yeah. No, and then, look, this being, I mentioned it last time as well. I was on this being Pakistan cricket. If we lose 2-0, and it's not beyond the realms of possibility, if we lose 2-0. Someone will take the hit, someone will take a fall, and it probably won't be Misbah because he's in charge of the whole thing. So you do fear for Azhar slightly if we get beat 2-0. And like you say, he seems like a good bloke, and he seems like the kind of bloke who would say, you know what, maybe this isn't for me. My question to you would be, if Azhar steps down as captain, very hypothetically, who's our next Test captain?
The tricky one. I think there's only two options. There's Babar and there's Sean. I think that's the two options. Babar, would I give him like responsibility for 3 formats as captain plus being your best bat? I think that's a bit too much for him to take over. So that only leaves Sean, and that's something you got to consider. What are your options? There's one more interesting piece of news today. The PCB have taken a lot of ex-players on board. Apparently, Shoaib has rejected the plea after all them claims that, you know, I will turn domestic players into the next, you know, Mitchell Stark and whoever the Guardians and Wasim Akrams, and he's rejected it. And there's a few others that, you know, like Muhammad Yusuf and Fasid Iqbal have accepted him. I did have a wry smile saying that up to like 2-3 days ago, they were openly criticizing the PCB, and all of a sudden, they're happy to take the jobs. Just sums up Pakistani cricket, doesn't it?
It's just the way, isn't it? And I was thinking, you've got what? Yusuf, Vagard, Razak, Yunus Khan, all in the same dressing room, all in the same environment. What could possibly go wrong with all those egos? And all those kind of, I'm the saviour of Pakistan cricket. No, I'm the saviour of Pakistan cricket. I think we've got to be careful with something like that. I mean, England will bring in a lot of ex-players for kind of consultancy roles, and maybe on a series by series basis. But like I say, all those egos in the same place, it'd be interesting to see what happens.
Yep, definitely. Okay, so that rounds it up. I won't be available tomorrow, so Holkistan's going to take over hosting, and I know he's got at least one guest. I don't know what his plans are at the moment. I'll ask him later. I've let him decide what he wants to do tomorrow. I guess everyone will still be tuning in tomorrow to listen to him.
Hopefully reflecting on us bowling England out for about 120 and being 200 for none at the close. That would be nice, wouldn't it?
I'll take that. I'll probably join him the show again.
Yeah.
The glory. No, I won't be available tomorrow. I've got other commitments. I have to be there. I'll be back from Saturday onwards. But yeah, I won't be hosting every show now because once Holkistan's done it once, I guess he'll be keen to host more. So let's just hope that we get a decent amount of plays tomorrow. And Pakistan actually put up a good fight to draw the series. Thank you, Doctor, for joining me.
Pleasure.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And just to sum everything else up, come on, Pakistan. I don't know what more to say to that. So, yeah, stay happy, stay blessed, keep your families happy. And the last thing, as always, Pakistan, Zindabad. And yeah, just when I press the wrong button and I can't end the close. So yeah, again, Pakistan.